one thing that you said, you know, it was awakened by nuclear energy or hunting or whatever. Like, there are a lot of unanswered questions. There's a lot of whatever. There's a lot of
plausibility in a Godzilla movie.
Right, but it's not so much that you need plausibility. It's that, like, I don't even quite understand the thing they set up. Like, it's confusion more than plausibility. Like, I had moments. I was there last night too.
Were you?
Yeah.
I didn't see
and we were in the back, and there was a lot of feeling old there with my wife. There's a lot of. What did he say? Didn't one of the other monsters already eat the nuclear weapon? Like, how come there's another nuclear weapon? Where did that come from?
Dave asked me a week after we saw it. Now, how did the other monsters wake up? And I was like,
because they're talking to each other.
What?
No, it's the stuff that Bryan Cranston is investigating. The echolocution, whatever it is.
The first
right?
monster, the one they had, waited until the female was of age. He was waiting for her to become an appropriate mate.
Unlike insert joke here.
Right. So. Sally Hawkins, you know, for a recent Oscar nominee, she has to go on the list of least interesting roles taken on by recent Oscar nominees. Like in a movie that in a good movie, but I mean that role could have been literally played by anyone.
A broomstick.
Totally,
but she has to be smart, and she has to be knowledgeable and comfortable with all the really technical jargon.
Then hire any British actress and we'll believe she's smart if she has an accent.
How much jargon? She barely talks.
And I prefer her to be that character than be like the victim who's like, oh, Godzilla's coming to get me. Like, she's at least a person who is an active character.
Yeah, but she had no lines. She just sort of, it wasn't necessary to have her.
She didn't have a lot to do,
yeah.
Right? And really nobody has a lot to do.
Ken Watanabe has a lot to do.
He has a lot to do. I mean,
one thing I thought was so funny was that San Francisco gets destroyed. Like the course they take.
Yeah.
All your douchey, flashy .com money. This is what you get, San Francisco. That's what I think the moral of the story is. They don't trash LA. Usually it's Los Angeles.
I was hoping they were going to step on the cast of The Internship.
No, so San Francisco gets totally destroyed. Although at the end there's a banner of a CNN headline that ends with the "Did blank save our? It was our city saved." And you're like, I don't think your city was saved. I think
the Trans-American building does not get destroyed. That's about it.
This movie makes me dread Transformers this summer.
Oh, why?
Right?
Transformers 1 through 3 makes me dread.
Right, but I mean,
Mark Wahlberg makes me dread Transformers.
This is the kind of movie that, like, somebody needs to force Michael Bay to sit in the theater and get the eye things from Clockwork Orange and watch this. This is how you make a big budget action spectacular.
One of the clever things the movie does is opens the film with old footage of like CIA people and Bill Clinton talking about tests. I think, like, for example, I think the Clinton apology.
That's
like the Tuskegee, the Scottsboro boys or whatever.
Right. Right. So maybe none of it is true.
Not the Scottsboro, the Tuskegee Airmen.
The Tuskegee Airmen, right?
Yeah. Not the airmen. The whatever, the syphilis experiment thing. You know.
Yeah, but they were with flyers, I thought. No?
No, that's two different things.
Two different things. Two things
We're
happened.
going to do a little Wikipedia search and get back to you guys.
God, Dred Scott was not involved in the testing trials.
Right.
Is this a good movie, you guys?
No, it's not.
It was Plessy.
There we go.
Yeah. So.
It's not a good movie. It is. It's sort of a found footage horror movie, but it's not. And it's one of those things that it is that you could set your watch by when things get quiet and someone's in the dark room with the flashlight. It's like beat, half a beat, blah, you know. And that's all this movie has is blah, you know, like the sudden loud noise, you know.
You know, and the pulling back the curtain. There were some curtains that weren't shower curtains in weird places. Like, there were a lot of people had to pull back curtains, and you pull back the curtain and there's nothing there, and so you relax. But it's right there. Yeah, right. There was a lot of that.
Is there the thing where they close the mezzanine cabinet door and there's someone in the mirror behind them?
I'm surprised they didn't do that one.
This movie sucks.
Yeah, it does. And the country music isn't even all that good. And they have, you know, there are songs that he performs, and then there are songs that are actual songs that exist in the world that are super on the nose and annoying. Like, the very first thing is Little White Church by Little Big Town, when they're going to get married. And then at one point they play Little Red Wagon. I want to say it's called it's a Miranda Lambert song about a red wagon when they're getting into a car. I mean, it's annoying.
the guy clearly has a drinking problem,
Right.
right? And they never address that either,
No.
right? Like he, early on, it's like, no, I'm not going to the wrap party. Just send a couple bottles of vodka up to my room.
And a steak.
And a steak.
At least he knows to
Right.
eat when he's getting shit-faced by himself
And
on
like,
vodka.
right, and then every time you turn around, like he's drinking, and like you
He's got
see
a
like
flask at the funeral.
right, and you start thinking like, okay, this could get interesting if it becomes about him and his drinking problem and that. But no, like that never comes up ever. It's like it which is kind of maddening. I'm like, this guy's this.
Well,
I don't know.
He goes out of his way to get on a bike to go buy a bottle of wine at the grocery store, right? Whoever the cashier
Right.
at the Piggly Wiggly or wherever the hell he is knows him from high school, and he buys like the nicest bottle of wine at the grocery store because it costs $25, and then he's on his bike with like the bottle in one hand and the handlebars in the other, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Right.
They made a big deal of him buying a bottle of wine on a bike, and then it's just gone.
Right.
Things like this bother me. Also
Right.
bothering me is when he takes her on the date in New Orleans, she's like, I want to go on a date with a real Liam Page, the big superstar, country star Liam Page. And they go to New Orleans and like, there's a crowd with like a rope line and they're like, Liam. And someone's there like, how's it feel to be back in the French Quarter, Liam Page? And it's
Right.
just, and not a single moment of this movie rings true. It's totally inauthentic.
Yeah, we were watching it, and Alonso leans over and he's like, Hallmark Channel, and that's what it feels like. Like this movie
does.
somehow escaped
It does.
the Hallmark Channel.
Is this like the game at all?
No, this is okay. So, Assassin's Creed, the game, the majority of the game, you're actually immersed in history, dealing with kind of difficult moral dilemmas, exciting action sequences, interacting with fascinating figures throughout history, and finding out that they're actually not at all like the reputation that has persisted throughout the generations. The majority of this film is actually Michael Fassbender kind of in a bland, smoky, crappy-looking office having stuff explained to him that has nothing to do with the stuff that we really want from Assassin's Creed. And if you've played, like, especially the original couple of Assassin's Creeds, they keep, like, cutting away from all the cool stuff in the game so that you can walk slowly down hallways while people tell you stuff that you don't care about. And I've never met anyone who said, that's my favorite part of the game. They thought that was the most interesting part in this movie. The actual exciting history stuff is maybe 40% of the film.
Well, this whole movie is, I mean, okay, again, obviously I'm approaching this as somebody who never played the game.
Yeah.
It is so ineptly put together that there were things where I was like, wait, is that supposed to be a twist? Because I thought it was super obvious the whole time, but the movie doesn't seem to be clear if we're supposed to have been along for the ride or if it's like really laying something surprising on us in Act 3. I personally loved, as the child of Spaniards, all the flashbacks to Spain where you've got all these actual Spanish actors speaking legitimate Castilian, and then Michael Fassbender doing this weird phonetic version. It's like, ooh,
He's
no.
been to Ibiza once.
Yeah, I know. It's like, could we please,
Go to Ibiza.
could we hire Antonio Banderas to like overdub him for these flashbacks?
that would've been cool,
Holy
actually.
crap. And also, why would the memories of your 15th century ancestor include a helicopter, like, panning shot of the entire city of Granada? Or
One of
whatever?
the
Now you want logic as to how
No, but that's
modicum
such
of
a
logic.
cliche in
Well,
movies, and it's like, wait, why would that be in your head?
Let's
you
even
know?
go beyond that. After like the opening of the film, which is like a really brief scene in Spain, the first thing we see once he actually goes into the machine is a scene he wasn't there for. Like it's a bad guy stealing a child. He wasn't there. That doesn't make
that's true.
any sense whatsoever. That's bad storytelling.
And also,
else's
when Michael Fassbender wakes up in like crazy science lab, and they're like, don't you know where you are? And there's this pan out across the city, and it's like Madrid is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and they shoot. This guy, I do like him as a cinematographer, but he shoots. I thought, is this a post-dystopian wasteland? Like, what's going on?
It's shrouded
It was
in
so
fog.
crappy looking.
Very drab.
But
Yeah.
you know what though? You know what keeps them happy and spry is parkour.
Lots of parkour.
They all seem to have learned parkour over the past 500 years.
All of the welcome to What the Flick. I'm Matt. That's Alonso. That's Christy. They are going to talk about My Little Pony, the movie. I didn't see it because it was a Sunday morning screening,
I saw it just for you.
and I was too hungover. So
I saw it for a multitude of reasons, and I dragged my child with me, and he was so pissed he didn't want to go.
He was a grumpy Gus.
He was
let me
really
tell
cranky,
you.
and I said, "Sorry, kid, it cannot all be Dunkirk." It's true. And I told him, did we tell him that you have to see the bad movies?
To appreciate the good ones.
To appreciate the good ones that much more. So here's a great opportunity to explore that. And so they have all these extra characters that they've created, voiced by famous people like Liev Schreiber and Emily Blunt and Kristen Chenoweth and Uzo And so they
Schreiber like the pony fixer?
There's like a Sia, right? There's like a Sia pony. She's a sea pony. And
with bangs and everything.
There's so much going on here, but the main like fundamental crux of it is that an evil I didn't even mean to do that. It's so mind-numbingly simplistic in terms of its themes. And then they burst into song.
Yeah,
not
very good songs.
Although the song about being awesome is kind of fun. That's like a little toe tapper, the awesome song. But then there's so much going on. Like I can't even begin to explain to you the multitude of characters that they introduce and how they all. Oh, Tay Diggs is in it. Like how they all get wedged into each other. They cram in. Zoe Saldana's in it. Like I'm thinking of more people. There are more characters.
And the thing is, you've got like a core group of 7 characters already. So if you've never seen the show, you're like, okay, wait, that one shoots rainbows out of its ass, and that's the farmer, and that's the pathologically shy one, and that's Posh Spice.
That's Posh Spice,
I could not. And so I'm trying to figure them out, and then there's all these other things going on.
It's very confusing.
So it's like on the one point overloaded with stuff and incident, and on the other hand, boring as hell.
Boring as
hell.
And screechy, and like shrieky and screechy and
yeah.
And
it was good when you were introing it there that you mentioned they have lots of iPads there. You set us up there. That was good.
An ad for Apple wrapped in this like toothless, feel-good marriage comedy.
Because Sony movies usually everybody's got a Veo. Like you never see Veos in real life, but everybody in a Sony movie owns a Veo.
Not Vio.
A Vio. Okay.
I don't know. Who
anyway,
knows?
This movie is all Apple all the time. And you know somebody at Sony's like, why do we have a tablet? Damn it!
Is anyone else disturbed that they got the title wrong? There's no fucking tape.
Sex tape.
Well, we still call it that.
Right.
There's no tape.
Right. That's
Sex
true.
file doesn't sound as
the billboards out here in LA, and I presume the rest of the country send you to the website. They forgot to delete it.com, and I wonder whether that was a title. Like whether they thought that could be the title. And then it lost a fight.
I bet it was always sex tape.
Right. But it's really hard to have a 4-year-old kid in this town, or a 10-year-old kid, and see sex tape all over town. Mommy, what's that?
I know. I love it.
Can we agree that mommy blogger is a career that exists only in movies?
I know mommy bloggers. No, I know mommy bloggers. I know at least 2.
And do they get paid for this?
Not very much.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Because Mom's Night Out, you'll recall, was about a mommy blogger. I was watching this and thinking, yeah, Mom's Night Out needed more tequila and fucking. That would have been a better movie.
And Apple products.
Yes.
Like there's the thing that's to me that's wrong. Like right at the beginning, there was something wrong with this. Like in the premise where they set it up and we meet Cameron Diaz and Jason Segel when they're college lovers, boyfriend and girlfriend, and they eventually get married. So right away you're seeing Jason Segel, who's in his mid-30s, and Cameron Diaz, who's what, 40?
She's about to turn 42, and I know we have the exact same birthday.
And she looks great, but she does not look like she's in college.
No, she does not.
And it is like I was put off by it. I thought, is this a joke? That they're trying to have us be Cameron Diaz in college, in which case that might be funny, but it wasn't. Like, no, we'll have the sex, but we'll deliver the same sort of incredibly safe, vanilla, creamy message. Creamy may be the wrong word to use, but it literally. I mean, it's a sex tape, and it just lies there.
And also, it's a really quaint notion that you make a sex tape and then you're like ashamed of it, right? It seems like very 5 years ago, like they totally missed like the moment of making this movie a good 5-10 years ago. Who cares? We have technology. Who cares?
Start reviewing sex tapes.
And then our new thing, we'll be what the fuck then. That'll be our new title. Okay, so what are our numbers, please? Ben Mankiewicz.
A 2.5.
I'm feeling astonishingly generous by giving it a 4, but that Rob Lowe part is funny enough that
Rob Lowe part's
when it
really
comes on cable, fast forward to the Rob Lowe part and then delete.
I give it a 3.
3.